Opinionated, outspoken, informative. The Jaguar Journal. Your source for the latest information on Southern University sports and SWAC athletics. A Baton Rouge sports talk tradition. Now, here's your host, Reggie Flood.
It's another day, another dollar. You know what that means? It's Saturday morning. I'm on the grind this morning. It's the Jaguar Journal. Perry White, my man Reggie Flood, will be calling in here in a minute. Good morning to everyone out there listening. Good morning, of always, to the millions of people listening out there in Radio Land. Everybody watching via social media, Facebook, as well as YouTube, man. We appreciate you and thank you for joining me this morning. Southern has a bye week in terms of football, but I have to say congratulations to Southern University women's soccer team remaining undefeated at home, getting the victory last night against Mississippi Valley. Coach Jeremy Funno got them girls, got them rolling. Women's soccer came into the season second behind Jackson State. It looks like it's going to literally come down as the season rolls on between Southern's women's soccer, Jackson State's women's soccer. But Southern getting it done last night against Valley and A.W. Mumford Stadium. So I had to come on and start the day off giving a shout-out to the Southern University women's soccer team, undefeated at home so far this season and really playing some good soccer. Now, I'm not the greatest soccer guy. I can't sit here and analyze and break down soccer to you the same way I could do basketball and football and baseball, but I know a goal is a goal when I see one. When I see a goal, I know it's good. I watched enough World Cups and whatever else when the world goes crazy and the soccer hooligans are out in order to know what's a good goal, right? But all that other stuff, I can't tell you the rules to soccer. I know if you do too much, you'll get a card pulled on you. Feel like I'm in kindergarten. I used to get you had the yellow card, the green card, the blue card, and you didn't want the red card, right? Soccer reminds me of kindergarten with that, right? That's as far as the cards went with me. Wait, let's see. Kindergarten first. It may have made it to second grade with the carding system. I just remember I was so bad at school one day, they took my card out. Teacher took it out and just set it to the side, right? This kid here, I don't know what's wrong with him. Just wait till your mama show up this afternoon. That's what you don't want, right? Hey, Miss White, can I speak with you? Yeah, it's about Perry. Oh, okay. He's been doing good, hasn't he? Well, today I had to take his card out. That's what you don't want in soccer, right? You don't. That's how I know that much about soccer. You don't want them to pull the card out on you, right? I think in soccer you may get the yellow card. Yellow always mean warning, so I don't care where you at. If you see yellow, that means slow up, right? But if you get a green card, that don't mean keep doing what you're doing. That don't mean keep it going. That means, hey, you're probably doing something, right? So, yeah, that's what I'm here to tell you guys. I'm not the biggest soccer guy. I don't know how to analyze soccer like the experts. I don't watch enough of it. But I do damn sure know a goal is a goal. When that ball go into that big old net and somebody jumping trying to block it and they don't and they get past them, I do know that much. And I know you can't use your hands. My son plays soccer, and I try my best when it comes to soccer. He's opening me up to the world of soccer because right now it's a good agility sport, especially at his age. Hand-eye, well, not hand-eye, I guess you could say foot-eye, because you can't use your hands. See, I'm the wrong one. I need to be the goalie. That's the only time I got to use my hand. I just can't keep running and just don't use my hand except bumping and pushing off, right? But it helps him a lot in the world of agility. So when he begins to expand his athletic horizon and say, Dad, I want to try this, or I'm telling him this is what you're going to do, you know, I think, but he's growing into soccer. Soccer's growing into him. I don't think he takes it as serious because his teammates, everybody just playful. He's the biggest kid and probably the most athletic, but when you're on a team and everybody else don't seem to be taking it, there's a lot of distractions. So the focus factor in terms of really trying to win, and that's what I harp about, really trying to. I know y'all having fun, right? You and your little friend. That's cool, man. Y'all out there doing your thing, right? But you got to try to win the game, son. You got to try to kick that ball in the goal. And that's what I'm telling y'all. If I don't know nothing else about soccer, I know that much. So congratulations to Southern University women's soccer team, Coach Jeremy Funno, getting the victory last night over Mississippi Valley. Congratulations to them, man. I love anytime our sports has an opportunity to elevate and do something. But, yeah, when it comes to soccer, like I told you, that's my last time telling you. Your kids, I'm sure they in school. I don't know if they do the carding system no more. But like I said, I just know you kick the ball in the net and you don't want a carpool because, like I said, kindergarten, I think it was through second, Mike. I think it was through second grade. You get that card turned. I remember first day of school, I think I got maybe a green or a blue or something. I just remember, I think it was yellow, green, blue, red. Red was like, ooh, you on fire. Like, you ever play beer pong? You hit them 2 shots in a row. You get the ball back. You on fire. You keep shooting until you miss. That's what I was. It was to the point the teacher took the card out. Some of y'all got some kids that bad too, so y'all don't judge me. All right? Some of y'all kids are bad too. They just probably don't pull cards out no more. Some of your kids get detention and in-school suspension. I've been there. All right? But look where I'm at now. Y'all listening to me on the radio. So that goes to show you can turn out all right in life, right? You can turn out all right in life. So that's all I got for you guys. My man Flood should be coming on here in a second, man. And just wanted to share that with y'all, man. It don't matter how you start, it's how you finish. And I guess that's the same that could be said to Southern's football season. It don't matter how you started. It's about how you finish. We got Flood on. Good morning, Flood.
I'm on. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
I don't know if
good morning.
I don't know if you heard my good morning. I don't know if you heard my rant about soccer. You know much about soccer, Flood?
I know a little bit about soccer. Yeah, they on the roll. That was just on my mind. Great minds think alike, man. Soccer is on the roll.
So I'm gonna tell the story again for you. I'm gonna waste how many minutes I want, people. Right? We get up in the morning and do this show, right? But Flood, I told him my son plays soccer. I don't know much about all the soccer rules and the antics. I just know when that ball goes in that net, that's a go.
It's a goal.
And I know when you do something you're not supposed to do, they pull a card out on you.
Yep.
Now, do you know
yellow
the
card,
color
card? Red card.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yellow card, red card, green card. I know it's yellow card, red card. I don't know if green is in there. Can't remember. But I know it's yellow card, red card.
Well, that's why I was telling him. I had a story about my kindergarten through second grade, and I was telling in kindergarten, well, one thing I do know about soccer, when they pull that card, I remember in kindergarten, yellow card, green card, blue card, red card, then we just pull it out. I've been so bad in class before where they just pulled it out. They was just like, you know what, we got nothing else for you. We just got to wait till your mama get here this afternoon. Just pull it out, set it to the side. I've had all of them. I've had every color one could ask for. Now, I don't know how good or how bad you were in your day, but I tell them, hey, I was, my problem was, Flood, I got done with my work early. I was smart, still smart. I guess can I say I'm smart? Yeah, I'm smart. I don't care. If I'm smart, I'm smart, right? But I was always done with my work early, so I'm looking around like, what y'all doing? Now I'm bored. You can't keep a kid bored too long, right? So, yeah, that's why I do radio today. I'm talkative, right? Because I'm in class. I chat it up with you right quick. I don't care. I'll talk to you about anything.
Yeah. I can relate to that. But I was never the one like to talk to the other kids. But I definitely can relate to being talkative and being the one that finishes work early.
Who you was talking to if you wasn't talking to the other kids?
I wouldn't talk. I was a reader in class, so that's how I stayed out of trouble.
Oh, okay. Well, I was in all of it in my younger days.
I was the one who would finish the work and then read the 2 chapters ahead of everybody.
Yeah, I was the one.
But that was only because I was a smart ass too. So I was a smart ass, and I wanted to know before everybody else knew. So that played a part in it.
Yeah, I was so immature. I was the type, if somebody passed gas, I fall out my chair laughing. I just thought that was the most hilarious thing in the world. Just silly. I don't know why I was just silly. And back in the day, we used to make the paper airplanes. Look, I'm a master. Look, Boeing could have hired me if they wanted somebody to be a master paper airplane maker, right? I could have probably worked for Boeing and whoever else making paper airplanes. Then we used to have these little things back in the day called poppers. I don't know if you know what a popper is, Flood, where you fold the paper and then you twist it up to the point to where it's like it's two sockets, right? But those two sockets, when you push them down hard with the paper, make the loudest popping noise one could ask for in the classroom. You know, that echo.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Making those and kicking little footballs across the room because somebody trying to make the smallest field goal ever, right? Just all type of stuff, Flood, man. That's what it was, man. That's what it was.
We definitely played football in class, definitely.
And you know what? All that was before social media. So now, you know, you got the phones and everything else to distract you. All right, let's get ready to do this. Let's take a break. I know y'all tired of hearing me about my cards and my soccer and all that. So let's take a break, Flood, and I'll come back and talk about some things. All right, so y'all stay tuned more to Jaguar Journal.
At Reliable Roofing, we're dedicated to providing exceptional roofing services, including roof inspections, repairs, and complete roof installations with over 30 years experience.
Reliable Roofing provided me with valuable, quality, and dependable service. They were reliable and affordable. Please protect your most valuable investment with quality roofing services from Reliable Roofing. Definitely where the pros go.
Let our family help your family. Call for a free estimate today.
Depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more.
All right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. I'm Perry White. He's Reggie Flood.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I guess I'm Perry White. All right. Good morning, everybody out there listening. Good morning, everybody out there on YouTube, Facebook, and listening to us on the airwaves all over the place.
The millions and millions and millions of the people listening to us across the country. And, of course, our friends in Alexandria and now New Orleans who are listening to us. In Alexandria on KTTP and in New Orleans on WBOK who are listening to us. Thank you for joining the Jaguar Journal.
Oh, yeah. Good morning to all of you guys. You know, a lot of times people try to measure the analytics of the show because of what you see on YouTube. But the show is so much more than YouTube. You know, a lot of people are confined to the space of Wi-Fi and the internet, right? But we're on the airwaves. The airwaves still work. Before there was the Wi-Fi, there was the airwaves, Flood.
And I guarantee you those people who are looking at the analytics, our numbers are bigger than yours. I know who you are. And I know what you're saying.
Yeah, come on here.
We almost getting as many views as them, and we have millions and millions. We do have about 120,000 people who are in our listening audience, and the audience is getting bigger and bigger. That's just on terrestrial radio.
That's just on the radio. So we want to thank everybody for out there listening, supporting. I know it's early in the morning. Oh, I got to give a shout out to those Palm Bluff High Zebras, man. You know, y'all come. Everybody, I bring them zebras up. Came on your show one time. Your co-host act like he had something funny to say about them zebras, man. You know, I wasn't really feeling it. I said, look it up, man, those zebras. But you know what? Two reasons why I bring that up. One of the reasons is because they won last night, 41-25 over Marmel. So now they have gone 3-0. See, we don't do districts. We do conference. So they're 3-0 in conference play, 4-1 overall. They only lost on the season. They went on the road in game one to start the season against Grenada, Mississippi, and in a tough game. Grenada got past the Z's, but the Z's have rolled on since then. And second, why I shout out the Palm Bluff High Zebras, because up at Louisiana Tech earlier this week, they honored with statues some of their greats, right? And one of their greats is a Palm Bluff High graduate, my man Willie Rofe. Come on, man. You can't be in Louisiana, especially South Louisiana, and don't know who big old Willie Rofe is, right?
Yep.
And that's my guy,
they
man.
Sure did. They honored Coach Kim Mulkey, Teresa Witherspoon, and they honored the child molester and known pedophile Carl Malone. So
and Bradshaw.
It's Terry Bradshaw.
Mm-hmm.
So there it is.
Yeah, when I saw Big Rofe, man, and that's my guy, man. We still chop it up. Man, Willie Rofe, that is a legend. Growing up, you just heard, about this guy just, coming from where we're from. And, and to be able to see him become a Hall of Famer, his name and banner is up in the Superdome right now. So, he's always been a legend. I've had his card growing up. So that's why I had to shout out those Palm Bluff High Zebras for those haters that think because your mascot is a zebra, that you weak. All right. Look us up. All right. It ain't many zebras.
My shout out is to Southern University soccer team, man. The Southern University soccer team on a three-match win streak, if I remember correctly. They had 2 out of conference wins, and now they've won their first SWAC game against Mississippi Valley. So the shout out to the soccer team. Definitely want to talk about them, because I want Coach Fontenot to know that we are paying attention. They have given Coach Fontenot his full allotment of scholarships, and he is taking advantage of it. And they out there getting it done, man. Shouts out to them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like I said, I just know the ball going in net. And I know you can't use your hands. And if you do something, they pull a card on you like you in elementary school. So, hey, shout out to soccer. Shout out to Coach. Flood, what else going on in your world this week, man?
Man, it's busy time, man. Got a little family stuff going on. Got one son getting ready to head out. So we taking care of that, and he's getting ready to venture out into adulthood, real adulthood. So that's what's going on. We got Ed in the car and St. Augustine playing tonight at over at City Park, and that's going to be a big game in terms of that, and just watching these Jags trying to get it together, man, and that's business is going good. We want business to go well, go even better. Shouts out to my man Lionel Hayes at Reliable Roofing. He's going to be joining us at some point. Maybe, I don't know if we're going to do it this week at some point, but he's going to join us and bring him on. He's a guy who was a former quarterback at Southern, transferred to Grambling, played in the Bayou Classic. He was the quarterback in the famous comeback or the drop the chalupa game, as we call it on Southern side. I don't know. I think on Grambling they call it something else. But he's from Baton Rouge. He has a great business going on now, Reliable Roofing. Shouts out to him. We've been chopping it up for the last 2 weeks, and he's doing some great things with some of the high schools. Talking about high schools and stuff. He's doing some great things with some of the high school kids in the local area in terms of recognizing them and helping them get together. And while we're giving shouts out to the high school, shouts out to Capitol High and Coach Keith Woods, man. They struggling over there, but hey, baby, you're building it from the ground up. You're building it from the foundation. And we Capitol High Golden Striped Lions, and we're gonna be okay. We building it from the foundation, baby. So, we're gonna be there to support. Keith is a former teammate of mine. Played at Southern, and we're going to support that thing and build it back up, and we're going to get it back where it's supposed to be. So we're in year one in week 5 and week 4. So we're going to be all right. Just keep your head up and keep pushing.
That's right, Flood. You keep on keeping on with them Capitol High. What, the Golden Lions? The
Golden Lions, baby.
Oh, y'all like UAPB then?
Yeah, baby. The Golden Lions. We're gonna be back in the fray, man. It's ugly now, but it's gonna be beautiful later.
So I'll tell you a crazy story since you are the Golden Lions, and I'm gonna tell you something that what is the quarterback that played at Capitol that went and played at UL?
Who? Terrence Broadway.
Terrence Broadway. So Southern played UL one year. And I was walking along the sideline, and so a lot of people, and I guess because y'all are the Golden Lions, a lot of people don't realize you've seen UAPB's Golden Line. The
helmet, the lion makes the UAPB.
So he had a tattoo on his arm, and it was the UAPB Golden Line. So I'm looking at it, and I'm like, why does he have UAPB tatted on him? But I had to realize a lot of people have never seen in the main that it actually says UAPB. So when he saw it, he probably just was like, man, that's a cold Golden Lion tattoo. I want that for Capitol. And I still, to this day, he probably don't even know he has actually UAPB tatted on him.
Terrence is related to me. That's like, he's family. I haven't seen the tattoo. He literally sat in my living room before. I'd never seen the tattoo.
It's on his arm, Flood. Next time you see him, look at it and say, man, why you got UAPB tatted on you? So I guess for a lot of people, they'll look at it and have never seen it actually spelled out. But my boy Tevy said, man, why does he got a UAPB Golden Lion tatted on his arm? And I looked, and now since you said about the Capitol Golden Lions, he saw that with UAPB and probably thought, man, that's hard, which the logo actually is hard. But if you look hard enough, it actually says UAPB. So
it does. But I would tell you, Capitol's Golden Line is very similar to that.
It don't say UAPB.
No, it doesn't say UAPB, but the fiery lion, as we call it, the fiery lion is very similar to that at Capitol. So,
well, your cousin got a UAPB tattoo. I just wanted to let you know.
I'll have to look at it and see.
It is UAPB. I analyzed it. I walked up on it because I shook his hand, but I didn't say nothing to him about it. I just kind of looked at it. And I was like, this dude, maybe he got ties, but now it all makes all the sense, Flood. It makes sense. I'm glad you said that. So now I see. So, all right, let's take a break. We'll come back. Got a call on the line. We'll go to the call line and see what it's talking about. All right, y'all stay tuned. More to Jaguar Journal.
Depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more. Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching out for professional help is the best thing you can do for you and your family. At Care South, we are committed to helping individuals and families to heal, bounce back, and grow stronger. Our team of professionals are available for telehealth and in-person visits. Call for an appointment today at 225-650-2000. Hope and healing is just a phone call away. Depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more. Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching out for professional help is the best thing you can do for you and your family. At Care South, we are committed to helping individuals and families to heal, bounce back, and grow stronger. Our team of professionals are available for telehealth and in-person visits. Call for an appointment today at 225-650-2000.
All right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. I'm Perry White. He's Reggie Flood. Good morning to everybody out there that's taking your time out. Listen on the radio, YouTube, social media. It doesn't matter. Just appreciate you for getting up this morning. It is early. Let's go to the phone lines. We got Chuck on the line. Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing on this football weekend? I'm doing fine up here in Monroe, Louisiana. Yeah, I was just chiming in what you were just talking about up here. Yeah, they unveiled those statues at Louisiana Tech, and you were talking about Willie Rofe. Yeah, he was in school at Tech with one of my first cousins. They were all at Tech during the same time, and yeah, Rofe was something to watch. And another guy I don't want to leave out, Brother Flood. You would love to hear this as well. I know you're a 49ers fan.
Fred Dean.
Fred Dean, yeah, he was honored posthumously. I met Mr. Dean back in 2018. I had been to Grandma's homecoming and stopped at Ruston at a Walmart, and he was coming out with his shopping cart, and I stopped there and I recognized him right away, and I told him I told him that I'm from Monroe, and he told me one of the nicest people in meet. He brought smoke on offensive players, on quarterbacks and running backs. On the gridiron, but away from the gridiron, he's one of the nicest people you want to meet. And And when he found out, when he found us from Monroe, he asked me, he said, "Do you know Dallas Howell?" I said, "Yeah, I know." He said, "We were in theological seminary together at Monroe at United Theological Seminary." They were both, they both went into ministry, and he was just talking, and one thing about him, he did a lot of great things around Ruston. People saw him on the gridiron bringing smoke on quarterbacks and running backs, Brother Flood. But when you just talking to him, you wouldn't believe that's the same guy.
Yeah. Fred Dean, really nice guy. I met him one time before. He was a super nice guy.
Yeah.
And, it was good to see him be recognized with some of those greats. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Chuck. Chuck, how things going on the other stuff in Monroe, man? High school football last night. How did things go?
My St. Frederick Warriors won. They beat Delhi Charter badly in that game, and I forgot the score. But I'm gonna tell you, Ruston High had a nail biter. They pulled that game out 29-26 to Lafayette Christian. Lafayette Christian came up to Ruston, and Lafayette Christian was making a comeback on Ruston, but they held on to win. And also Wassman held Calvary Baptist out of Shreveport. The score. Calvary was leading 14-6 throughout the game, but what happened? Wassman couldn't convert on offensively. They couldn't convert, but defense was holding their own. But when the offense just couldn't get it going, and Calvary pulled away 21-6. Calvary school have been pulling. They've been running points on people, but Wassman held it down real well. But like I said, just Calvary's game. But I'm not going to keep you on the phone long. But I'm in this with you. Fred Dean, he played on the 1973 Division II National Championship team at Tech when they beat Western Kentucky. You know who Western Kentucky beat to get to the national championship and put the HBCU side on it? They beat Grambling in Baton Rouge in 1973. They beat them at Memorial Stadium in Baton Rouge, where Catholic High plays. West Kentucky beat Grambling to get to the national championship to play Louisiana Tech. Tech beat them badly. Dad talks about that it was a shutout. Louisiana Tech won the national championship with Fred Dean and Roland Harper. Maxie Lambright coached that national championship team.
Yeah, Chuck, before I let you go, you headed over
Sure.
to Grambling this week? You headed over to Grambling this weekend?
Yeah, I'm heading over. I know I'm saying this on a Southern show. Yeah, I'm heading over today, and it should be interesting. And it's been doubtful about Andrew Body. He suffered a shoulder injury. It wasn't the Rice game.
I can't hear you what you say.
I said Andrew Body. I said, yeah, I'm heading over today. I said, Andrew Body is doubtful for the game. Was it a shoulder injury? They said it was in the Rice game. They suffered that injury.
I think
he suffered an injury last year, the original injury last year.
Yeah, from Alabama A&M.
I think it was he hurt it again. It's been a recurring injury, so I hope that he gets healthy and is able to play because I really like that young man. So hopefully they get it together and he's able to play. If not, just sit him down until he gets completely healthy. So
hey, Chuck,
Chuck,
I got something for you.
Yeah, go ahead, Brother White.
We talking about Monroe, so I'm gloating again on my Pine Bluff High Zebras. We used to come up there and whoop up on Monroe Neville.
Yeah, Neville, you used to bring smoke on Neville High School. Neville was legendary in this area. They've been a powerhouse since the 1950s, going back to Bill Rupel and Charlie Brown and Mickey McCarty winning state championships, and they had Joe Coaston win a state championship in '95. But yeah, Pine Bluff High is coming. The Zebras used to bring smoke on Neville.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. They don't be understanding, man. When I start talking, I'll leave it at that, Chuck. Thank you, Chuck, calling in this morning, man.
You all take care. Have a great weekend.
All right. See, Flood, you don't be understand. You don't understand, Flood. They don't understand. They don't understand.
I know Pine Bluff High. I know who the Zebras are. I give the Zebras their props.
I know you do, man. I appreciate you.
I give the Zebras their props.
I appreciate you, man. And look, just had to, when he said Monroe, I was like, oh, I remember we used to play Neville. Whoop up on them boys, too.
The fun row.
Yeah.
Up in the fun row. I believe y'all caught Neville in them down years. That was when your
No,
time you caught
Neville
in them
Neville
down
will
years.
go on and win a state championship in Louisiana.
Yeah, they Neville used to be a powerhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, they still pretty good. They used to be a powerhouse.
I've seen them playing a few state championships against Carr as of lately, couple years back.
Yeah, that was their return because they fell off. They had about a 10-year period, 15-year period where they fell off.
Yeah.
But they are traditionally one of the powerhouse programs in the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, speaking of Arkansas, talking about Pine Bluff, my favorite Confederate team is in town today, Flood. You know, I don't know if everybody know about that, but, you know, I always say outside of the HBCU realm, if you're cheering for any team in the SEC, which I see is, you know, you get your Bama fans, you get your Florida fans, you get your LSU fans, and I'm an Arkansas fan. So you don't meet many of us, right? So, hey, everybody, good morning. How you doing? That's my favorite Confederate team. We're trying to take that boot back to the natural state today. So.
The ugliest trophy in all of college athletics.
No, it's not. There's some
boot.
ugly trophies out there. Like, what is one? The keg of nails? That's an ugly trophy, right? Who the hell wants a keg of nails?
I think that the Golden Boot is right up there in the top three, along with that big Indian statue that Northwestern and Stephen F. Austin trades 7 or 8 foot Indian.
I think they retired that. From what I heard, they retired it quietly around
That's
COVID.
a good thing.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
It was a little offensive.
And that Golden Boot is right there with it.
So you telling me just to have a state of Arkansas and a state of Louisiana on a trophy is ugly?
Yeah, that's an awful looking trophy. I would like to see that done in a different way, but that's not my fish to fry.
See, Louisiana people, instead of having the two states make the boot, you want a real boot on there, don't you? You want a cowboy boot, snakeskin boot sitting on there, don't you?
Honestly, I don't care either way.
I know you don't, man.
Let them hold it down. I let them hold it down. Arkansas, LSU. I'll try to tune in and watch the game and you know, hope y'all in at a 0-0 tie. No, not for real.
Come on with me, Flood. Come on, jump in the car with me today, Flood. Come on now. Jump in the car with me.
I can't do it. My Jags not playing.
That's what I'm saying. Jump in the car with me.
I'll be watching and enjoying. That makes it even more enjoyable.
Yeah.
That my Jags aren't playing, so I don't have to root for anybody. I can just watch and enjoy the game.
And that's what made it perfect for me. The fact Southern had a bye week. This game always normally fell during Bayou Classic weekend back in the day, that Thanksgiving weekend. A&M came into the conference and they pushed it back into that bye week that Southern has before the Bayou Classic, which then worked out even better for me. And now they've pushed up. These two teams have never met this early in the season, talking about September. So, but still, it still fell in a good week for me. Then
they've always tried to manufacture a rivalry game.
Come on,
between
man.
LSU and Arkansas.
You just said you ain't got no dog in this fight. Now you trying to talk about manufacturing a rivalry.
I'm talking about they did. They tried to manufacture a rivalry because LSU doesn't have an in-state rivalry. You got Ole Miss, Mississippi State. You got Alabama, Auburn. You got you have Tennessee, not necessarily Tennessee, Vanderbilt, but Tennessee and Alabama, Georgia, Florida. You have some natural rivalries in the SEC. But LSU didn't really have a natural rival. So they were trying to manufacture a natural rival for LSU with Arkansas, and Arkansas came into the conference. And the fans just never really bought into it. And then when Texas A&M came into the conference, they tried to manufacture a rivalry between Texas A&M because that had actually been a rivalry for some years.
Yeah,
Texas A&M and LSU. But that didn't. I think LSU just kind of adopted with Nick Saban going to Alabama. They kind of adopted Alabama as their rivalry. I don't think Alabama looks at LSU as a rival, but LSU looks at Alabama as a rival.
Yeah, Arkansas to Texas A&M is more of a rivalry than LSU to Texas A&M.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, the Arkansas, Texas, old Southwest Conference teams, you know.
You know what's crazy before we get ready to go to break? A lot of people don't realize, the fact that Arkansas and Oklahoma is right next to each other, right? The two campuses are about 3 hours and some change apart. In the history, in the past, let's just say since the 1970s, both schools only played 3 times, Flood. And I kind of blew somebody's mind because they was like, I would think there would have been a natural rivalry. But in actuality, it's not. Arkansas and Oklahoma does not have history. Over the past 50 years, they've only played 3 times. That was in the 70s, I think once in the 80s, and then 2002. Everything else before that was in the early 1900s. So I thought that would have been a rivalry, especially with Oklahoma coming in. But then when I did my research, yeah, there's no rivalry there. And then they tried to force us to be rivals with Missouri. And it's like, who is Missouri, right? Yeah, Mizzou, right? That ain't good.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's another rivalry they tried to force to Arkansas.
And they made an
Missouri.
ugly trophy for that one. Now, I'll take the boot. I can't take a trophy with Arkansas and Missouri on it, right? That makes nothing. It absolutely makes nothing. It makes nothing. So, all right, let's get ready to take a break. We'll come back. Hey, my man Greg Summers is going to join us. He's the president of the RV Club up at Pine Bluff, to give some information for anybody that's coming up there, my neck of the woods next week. You know, I try to be hospitable, give you some information before you head on the road, to give you some information, let you know what you need to do. So anybody out there with your RVs or just want some game information, some tickets, my man Greg is going to come on. He's president of the RV Club up there at Pine Bluff. So, all right, we'll take a break, come right back. Stay tuned more to Jaguar Journal.
At Reliable Roofing, we're dedicated to providing exceptional roofing services, including roof inspections, repairs, and complete roof installations with over 30 years experience.
Reliable Roofing provided me with valuable, quality, and dependable service. They were reliable and affordable. Please protect your most valuable investment with quality roofing services from Reliable Roofing. Definitely where the pros go.
Let our family help your family. Call for a free estimate today.
At Reliable Roofing, we're dedicated to
depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more. Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching out for professional help is the best thing you can do for you and your family. At Care South, we are committed to helping individuals and families to heal, bounce back, and grow stronger. Our team of professionals are available for telehealth and in-person visits. Call for an appointment today at 225-650-2000. Hope and healing is just a phone call away. Depression, anxiety.
All right, we're back. This is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody out there listening on the radio waves. Good morning to everybody on the YouTube as well as social media. I'm Perry Whitey's Reggie Flood, and we're going to keep this thing rocking and rolling this morning. We want to welcome to the Jaguar Journal my man, Greg Summers, president of the Arkansas Rolling Lions RV Club. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning.
How you doing?
It's a beautiful day.
What makes it a beautiful day today, Greg?
I'm breathing, the sun is shining, and I get to enjoy it.
There you go. That's all I wanted to hear.
There you go. There you go. Like an old man told me one time, Greg, you think today is a bad day, try missing one.
Hey.
So
Exactly.
Like a wise woman once told me, Miss Relish, she said, stop saying my name on that radio. I'm saying it this morning. Miss Relish said, just keep waking up, baby. Well, she didn't use the word baby. We know that. But she said, just keep waking up. Greg, what's going on, man? Them Jaguars coming up the road. Next week, we got to drive through God's country to get up there to Pine Bluff, man. My neck of the woods, your neck of the woods. See, Flood, Greg, I'm a zebra. He's a wildcat. He went to chapel. So, you know, we ain't going to do we ain't gonna
I
do
thought he was going to say dollar way. I thought he was going to say with the dollar way he went to chapel. No. Not dollar way, man. Nope.
Now he's not a Cardinal. He's a wildcat. So you know.
Yeah.
They've only beaten us maybe 6 times in history, right? So
the fact that I know the high schools in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, says I know way too much about sports.
Hey, Greg, he know about PJs, Greg. So he been around a little bit. He talked about.
You know about PJs? Okay.
Boy, I know about Club Vegas. What y'all talking about PJs?
Thursday night.
Oh,
I know about Club Vegas, Greg. Hey, I know about
no, not Club Vegas.
He been to a Bobby Jet spot, huh?
Yeah. That's how long I've been coming to Pine Bluff.
Hey, you know, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, for everybody that's out there, you know, Southern, we roll deep with the RVs now. And I know you pride yourself because you said you guys are an RV club. You know, we got a lot of people who just, you know, individually do their things. But for people out there in terms of RVs and campers and whatever else that's coming up or want to come up next week, what kind of information you got for them, for those Jaguars or anybody that's coming up?
See, we have 52 hookups, and they're all owned by members of the RV club. But they don't always participate at every game. So there will be some 30, 50 amp water hookups available. $50 a night. Well, for the weekend it's $100. If you want to come in on Thursday, you pay another $50. But if you come in $50 a night, water hookup, electrical hookup, and you're right. Now Southern has about 421 RVs parked at their on any given opportunity. But we pride ourselves in Pine Bluff as being the premier RV club in the SWAC. I don't think there's any other university that has the type of relationship, RV club that has the type of relationship that we do with the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, because we've got a contract with the university, and we manage all RV parking at Simmons Bank Field. So anybody that wants to park an RV, you call the university, they're going to refer you to our club.
You hear him flexing, Flood? You hear him flexing?
Yeah, I hear it.
Hey, Greg, I got to ask you, man, what is the information, what number, how should they get in contact with you?
They can call my number because that's who they're going to refer them to. They're going to refer them to me, and my number is 501-952-0841. We get you paid in advance. And we've had a couple of Southern nights. It had been but 2, but we had a couple that have already called and reserved them a spot for the game next week.
you know, we're kind of in a peculiar situation of where we at right now in the season. Southern coming in 1-2 before they make this next road game up to Pine Bluff. But for Pine Bluff, just played Thursday night against A&M. Coach Alonzo Hampton, I know you're a big supporter of the Golden Lions. What have you thought about your Golden Lions so far?
They look a lot better than they did last year. I mean, so it's a process, and fans have to be patient with processes. So I'm not 100% satisfied with the product, but I see that what he's bringing to the table, and there's one thing I like about Coach Hampton, and that is he's solid in his belief, and he said God has already showed him the vision. So I know what that feels like when you've been shown the vision of your success. So I trust him, and I'm just going to be patient, and we'll get there. But we look a lot better than we did last year. So I'm happy with that aspect of it. But you just have to be patient, and I know Southern, you guys are used to winning. We want to win, you know, but we've got to put some money into the program.
Yeah.
And in order to get, you know, kids in there that really want to win, we got to put some money in the program. And that's what we're trying to do as an RV club. We got a campaign going now called Stack the Stadium. And if we reach a certain number of paid capacity, season ticket holders, they can win up to, we're going to give them $500. We're going to pull that number, that season ticket number, and they can win up to $2,500 this year when they missed an opportunity at the first home game because we didn't reach that capacity. We're not just going to give it away. We're trying to get people to come to the game. And I can tell you what motivated us in this aspect. When we went to Alcorn last year, and I'm sitting in the stands, and I see that home side pool over there, and I Googled Lorman, Mississippi, with a population of 1,842. And I'm like, you got these number of people in the stands, over 3,000 or 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people in the stands for a home game at Alcorn. And it may have been more than that. And the population of that town where the university is 1,842. And we're in a city of Pine Bluff with a population, although declining, of 42,000 people. We can't even get 3,000 people in the stand or 5,000 people in the stand. And now last week it was 81 or 8,200 people. But, you know, we got a campaign going where we're getting we're giving away 100 tickets every home game as an RV club through radio advertising.
Well, I like
so we're doing everything that we can to pick up the attendance, because you can't even go out to and ask someone for a sponsorship if you don't have people in the stands.
That's it.
So how am I going to sponsor you? Who am I speaking to when you got 25 people at a home game? And that's exaggerating the number of being so low, but that's just a fact. You got to have people there if you're going to get money and people to sponsor you.
That's it, Greg. Hey, give me your number one more time for everybody that's listening that wants to come up and possibly get an RV spot, camper, or whatever else.
501-952-0841.
That's my man, Greg Summers, president of the Rolling Line RV Club. Hey, Greg, you're going to have to point them. I know Flood and everybody else, every time they talk to me, they looking for the turkey leg. Who got the best turkey legs up there real quick?
Man, the turkey legs going to be right inside the stadium. When you walk in, this guy's going to be on this big grill, and you see it when you walk in the stadium. That's the turkey leg, man.
The turkey leg, man. That's all we looking for. All right, I got to make sure I get everybody to take, because everybody look at me. They eat the turkey wings down here, but I'm like, the turkey legs, we do that in Arkansas. So thank you, Greg, for coming on this morning, giving out that information, man.
You bet. Yeah, take care.
All right.
Thank you, Greg.
We at the top of the hour. We got Mike hit me. He said, we got to do it. All right, so let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk some Southern University football. It's a bye week. Call in. Tell me how you feel. 225-499-1073. Call in. Let's talk about it, all right? Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more. Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching out for professional help is the best thing you can do for you and your family. At Care South, we are committed to helping individuals and families to heal, bounce back, and grow stronger. Our team of professionals are available for telehealth and in-person visits. Call for an appointment today at 225-650-2000. Hope and healing is just a phone call away. Depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more. Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching out for professional help is the best thing you can do for you and your family. At Care South, we are committed to helping individuals and families to heal, bounce back, and grow stronger. Our team of professionals are available for telehealth and in-person visits. Call for an appointment today at 225-650-2000. Hope and healing is just a phone call away. Depression.
Ryan Clark,
We're back in
ABC.
It's the Jaguar Journal. I'm Perry White. He's Reggie Flood. Hey, Flood, when I heard that T-Pain, I thought we was coming out of commercial. Me and Mike was looking at me. I'm looking at him. I didn't choose that.
Apparently, T-Pain has new management because he's everywhere. He on the commercials now. His music being used in commercials. T-Pain said he's trying to get this money.
Hey, I feel him because I'm like, hey, we didn't pick that, but good morning, everybody out there tuning in to the Jaguar Journal. All right, I know y'all want, is this the Jaguar Journal? Are they going to talk about Southern? Or are they going to talk about other stuff? Yeah, it's okay sometime to talk about stuff outside of Southern, too, okay? Right? There's a whole world out there. We talk about other stuff, too, but I got you. We'll talk about Southern. I'll make your day. All right, first, before we even talk about Southern, let's talk about the SWAC, right? Week 3 last week in college football and around the SWAC, you look at some teams. It was pretty tough weekend for the SWAC. Non-conference games, I'll start and go all the way down. Flood, you can chime in and tell me how you feel, but some of these you're going to probably be like, I don't care. I know you well enough for you to say that. Right? SMU 69, Prairie View 0. Flood?
I don't care.
All right. That's what our friends and cousins and nieces and nephews and aunties and uncles and everything else up in North Louisiana. Grambling took on Florida Memorial last week. Getting the victory 58-22. Grambling's passing offense, when you look at Miles Crawley, man, so far he seems to have emerged as a pretty good quarterback for Grambling, passing 14-27, 220 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I like Miles Crawley so far in his development as a quarterback up at Grambling, Flood.
I like Miles Crawley, but I don't care that they beat Florida Memorial.
There it is, giving up 20-something points. Let's keep it rolling. A team that had beat Alabama State just prior to this goes on the road. Miles College Golden Bears go up to my neck of the woods of Pine Bluff, take on the Golden Lions of UAPB. UAPB squeaking this thing out 21-20. A crucial 4th and goal stop. They were able to stop them. UAPB getting it done. But UAPB in this ball game, Flood, 1 of 14 on 3rd down conversions. They were outgained actually by Miles College in total offense, 403 yards total for Miles. 327 for the Golden Lions. The Golden Lions picked up their first win of the season.
Yes, interesting game. I watched UAPB play this Thursday against Alabama A&M, and
I'm gonna get
they're
to that
a better
game.
team.
I'm gonna get to that game. I'm gonna get to that.
They're a better team, and Miles, like you said, went in and beat Alabama State, and then played UAPB really tough. UAPB, man. I was hoping upon hope that they would be able to get a victory in that game against A&M, and have back-to-back victories against Miles. I think that would be a confidence builder for that team. So,
as we move on, Florida A&M at home, Bragg Memorial Stadium. Listen, it's something special about that place, right? You just can't go in there and think you're going to walk out with a victory. They will punch you in your gut, your kneecap, and your chin and knock you down.
Because their fans show up and are hostile to the other team and don't sit on their hands and make it intimidating to come in that place. And so, Bragg is a tough place to play.
The Rattlers took on West Florida, a perennial Division II power. Some years back, West Florida came in and beat McNeese, but I don't know how much weight that holds these days, right? And I'll tell you why as I keep going through the scores. But Florida A&M getting the victory 31-10 over West Florida. Rice 59, Texas Southern 7. Delta State, Mississippi Valley. Itta Bena versus Cleveland. Delta State Division II, of course, Mississippi Valley, a member of the SWAC. Flood, Delta State just putting it on them 35-7. They outgained the Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley. Delta State, 511 yards of total offense, 254 in the air, 257 on the ground on the other side. For the Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley, only 156 total yards, 125 passing, 31 on the ground, Flood.
Yeah, Delta State, man, they have a heck of a program. They got a little tailback over there, man, named Smith. KJ Smith he looks like Floyd Mayweather, but he's much thicker and much fast and a running back, man. He put it on Valley, man. I happen to have known that young man since he was a small child. So it's interesting to watch as he's grown up and taken over as a tailback over at Delta State. But, yeah, man, that is Valley. even with all those changes, it's still Valley.
Just nothing they can do about it. The Valley is what they call themselves this nowadays. Texas State.
They got some sweet uniforms. I give them that much.
That's all they can hold their head up on. Okay, all right. Texas State versus Jackson State. Jackson State goes on the road, takes on Texas State. Texas State 77, Jackson State 34. A name that should sound familiar in this game for Texas State, their quarterback, T.J. Finley. We all know from around the South Louisiana area, right there in Ponchatoula, Louisiana. 17 of 21, 251 yards, 3 touchdowns in that ball game as T.J. Finley and Texas State goes on. Malik Hornsby, the backup quarterback, I know well because he was Arkansas's backup quarterback behind K.J. Jefferson. So they have 2 former SEC quarterbacks in T.J. Finley and Malik Hornsby at Texas State. They put up 77-34 on Jackson State. They outgained Jackson State 684 yards, 284 passing, 399 on the ground, Flood. They had their way. Jackson State falls. Here's a game, Mississippi versus Louisiana. Alcorn State taking on McNeese State. Alcorn getting the victory. They're the only team in the conference to beat McNeese, and the fact they've done it back-to-back shows, I guess, where McNeese is, where Alcorn, I don't know. Alcorn gets the victory. The Big Bad Braves, as they call themselves, 17-3. You look at this ball game, Alcorn went 10 of 16 on third downs. McNeese 3 of 8. Alcorn outgained them in total yards. 358 total yards for Alcorn, 157 in the air, 201 on the ground for McNeese. 234 total yards, 127 passing, 107 on the ground. Alcorn gets his first victory of the season. And Aaron Allen, who's everybody's been waiting to see if he's going to grow up, 18 of 23, 157, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Nico Duffy, 16 carries, 74 yards. Jarvion Howard, 17 carries, 58 yards. And the Braves get their first victory against an out-of-conference opponent, against an opponent that has traditionally had success against the SWAC. And Braves have beat them back-to-back times, Flood.
Yes, indeed. Alcorn went in there, got the victory over McNeese. So they got the victory over McNeese. Shouts out to them. You know, McNeese program is, it is what it is. And Alcorn is taking advantage. The Big Bad Braves rocking and rolling. So good deal. Glad they got the victory.
And, of course, the setting couldn't have felt any better last week with all eyes on A.W. Mumford Stadium to figure out what is Coach Eric Dooley and this Southern University football team going to do after starting the season 0-2, and the Jaguars found a way to get a victory over the board. I forgot I still got a little bit of that in me, Flood. Cornell Maynor barking his way into Sports Center all over the place. And they come in, Jags quiet those little Bulldogs and sent them back up to Huntsville, Alabama with something in they, you know what. That's a long way to carry L. Southern gets the victory 20-10. You look overall in this ball game, third down efficiency, Southern 5 of 14, 290 yards in this ball game for the Jaguars, 228 in the air, 62 yards on the ground. On the other side for the Bulldogs, 8 of 18 on third down, 2 of 5 on fourth down. Ooh, they were gambling a lot on those fourth downs. 211 total yards, 228 in the air. Guess what? Minus 17 on the ground. Both teams, when you look at turnovers, A&M 4 turnovers, 3 by way of fumbles, 1 by way of interception. On for the Jaguars, finally limiting the turnovers, but it was a fumble. But Harold Blood, pretty stable day from the quarterback position. You know why? Because he didn't give the ball away. Harold Blood, 14 of 24, 205 yards, a touchdown. Southern still, Flood, although won the game, and we're going to take a win when you can get a win, right? But still has yet to go over 100 yards in a game rushing, and this is starting to be a trend with this offense. Man, it's something that we haven't quite seen in a long time where Southern just can't run the ball.
Yeah, we haven't seen this in years. Southern not being able to run the ball in a game I labeled a coaching search classic. But you know, yes, Southern has not been able to run the ball this effectively this year, and that's because, in my opinion, it's not a very physical team on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Especially in the trenches. So when you're not physical in the trenches, then you have issues running the ball. Hopefully that's something that they can remedy and get it together. I mean, you have you're probably going to have some opportunities against Pine Bluff to go out and try to establish the run. So we'll see if that happens. But you're right. It's been a lot of years. It's probably been since 2012 since Southern hadn't been able to effectively run the ball. Well, now it's been longer than that, but yeah, it's been a long time since we haven't been able to effectively run the football.
Gary Quarles, 18 carries, 36 yards, 1 touchdown. Kendrick Grimes, 7 carries, 34 yards. Kobe Dillon, 1 carry, 3 yards. Harold Blood, 5 carries, 3 yards. Those are Southern's rushing stats. Southern gets the victory, much-needed victory. Kind of get the fan base at least off of Dooley's back a little while. Bye week couldn't have came at a better time as they prepare to head up the road to my neck of the woods to Pine Bluff. Get ready to take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about Pine Bluff's game from Thursday night against Alabama A&M and what the Jaguars need to do in order to get a victory on the road, second road game of the season for the Jaguars. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
At Reliable Roofing, we're dedicated to providing exceptional roofing services, including roof inspections, repairs, and complete roof installations with over 30 years experience.
Reliable Roofing provided me with valuable, quality, and dependable service. They were reliable and affordable. Please protect your most valuable investment with quality roofing services from Reliable Roofing. Definitely where the pros go.
Let our family help your family. Call for a free estimate today.
At Reliable.
Depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more. Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching out for professional help is the best thing you can do for you and your family. At Care South, we are committed to helping individuals and families to heal, bounce back, and grow stronger. Our team of professionals are available for telehealth and in-person visits. Call for an appointment today at 225-650-2000.
All right, we're back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everyone out there listening, radio land, social media, as well as YouTube. I'm Perry White. He's Reggie Flood, keeping it rocking and rolling this morning. Let's talk about Southern's next opponent, right? Bye week this week for the Jaguars. They go on the road next week to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, going to take on the Golden Lions. If you had the opportunity to check out Black college football, Thursday night was a great opportunity for you, if you were Jaguar fans, to check out UAPB Southern's next opponent. They took on Alabama A&M, of course, Southern's last opponent. The Jaguars got a chance to get past A&M, right? A&M didn't quite know what they were going to be. Their starting quarterback that came into the season, Xavier Langford, was out with an injury. Quincy Casey comes in against Southern, and he continues that against UAPB in a hard-fought game. Alabama A&M Bulldogs getting it 31-24 over the Golden Lions. A&M 505 total yards, 328 yards in the air, 177 on the ground. And on the other side, for the Golden Lions, 320 total yards, 242 in the air, 78 on the ground, 2 turnovers for the Golden Lions, 1 for the Bulldogs. When you look at UAPB, Jalen Macon, their quarterback, 17 of 29, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. But one of their running backs who I had an eye on the week before against Miles, B.J. Curry, comes in and they step it up, next man up kind of role, ran for over 100-plus yards the week before, 5 carries for 20 yards this week against the Bulldogs. And on the other side, Quincy Casey really stepped up after that game against Southern, 27-33, 328 total yards, passing, and 3 touchdowns. But they were also able to get it done on the ground. Anglin, their running back, 19 carries, 126 yards, 1 touchdown. For you, Flood, did you get a chance to check out this game? And if you did, watching Pine Bluff, knowing that's the next opponent, what did you see out of Pine Bluff that could probably be some issues for Southern University?
Yeah, I did get a chance to watch some of this game. And honestly, I don't think Pine Bluff does anything on offense that's really troublesome for Southern's defense. I'm interested to see Southern's offense against Pine Bluff's defense. I think that Pine Bluff is very similar to A&M, which hence the close game between those two. They could have gone either way. Like I said, I don't think Pine Bluff does anything on offense that's going to be troublesome for Southern's defense necessarily. But Southern's offense can't keep putting the defense in bad position, and can't keep expecting the defense to just hold teams scoreless or hold teams to low scores like they've been doing. The offense is going to have to find some way to put points on the board, and if they can do that, then they'll beat Pine Bluff pretty easily. But if it's a low scoring game in Pine Bluff, it could go either way.
Let me ask you about this. You being able to see Pine Bluff's defensive line, their defensive front up against A&M, and we've seen kind of the struggles with Southern's offensive line. What do you see with the trenches between these two schools?
I looked at what they were able to do against A&M. A&M did some things, really nicely later on in that game, especially in the second half, which is where I got a chance to see most of the game, most of the second half. But A&M started to hit them. They made the offensive line, the D line, they took them out of the game by making quick hitters, and then they ran the ball straight at them. Once they got them off balance and kind of, made some adjustments, then they just ran the ball, nothing fancy, ran the ball straight at them and were able to be successful. So, I don't know if that works for Southern, but I know that should be part of the game plan, at least trying to and sticking to the run and then getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly. I remember A&M went on a scoring drive late in that game, or in that game in the fourth quarter, where they just kept throwing screens, kept hitting the screens, kept hitting, getting the ball out of that quarterback's hands quickly to the wide receivers on slants and dig routes, and they just, and then they would do a little play action, but they were getting the ball out quickly and letting their playmakers make plays. Hopefully that's the game plan that Southern has in mind too.
Yeah, building the confidence of Quincy Casey. You saw him pass for over 300 yards in that ball game. Harold Blood, if Quincy Casey can get that, Harold Blood, but it's the position that the coach puts him in order to be successful. Do you do grades? Can I get you to do a grade with me of grading Southern? Since we had a bye week, we got 3 games under our belts. I think we've seen enough football so far to be able to grade from the Bama State, Jackson State, and Alabama A&M grade games. But to grade, and let's do offense, defense, special teams, and let's start on the offensive side. Give me a grade from F to A of where you give the offense currently.
Southern's offense?
Yeah.
I would give them a D.
And then give me a little red lining and some circles about that D.
Inconsistent. Offensive line isn't very good. No identity.
Mm-hmm.
No identity.
I'm with you on that. I look at Southern's offense right now, struggles. And each week, the points seem to just go up just steadily, just a little bit, Flood. In week 1 against Alabama State, 10 points on the board. Struggle after that first quarter, nothing else for the rest of the game. In week 2 against Jackson State, 14 points on the board. Struggle in the second half. In week 3 against A&M, he goes up to 20, but still struggle. Lost. There were plenty of points that were left out on the field. It just seems like this team, once they get into the red zone, for some reason, they just have a tough time in the red zone, Flood. Have you noticed that? And this seems to have gone back last year, and I think I first noticed this against Texas Southern. And it seems since that game, when Southern gets in the red zone, they struggle heavily offensively.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're still in the spread. Your offensive line is not a physical offensive line. So you can't just line up and run the ball. You don't use tight ends in compact areas. Tight ends come in handy. You don't use the tight ends. You're not a physical offensive line, and you're having issues running the ball. So, yeah, we struggle in the red zone.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to defense. That seems to be the bread and butter. It saved the season, seemed like last year. And they've been holding on a little bit. They faltered against Jackson State, gave up 200-plus yards on the ground, some big third downs. We could have got Jackson State off the field. But when you go back and look at Bama State, they did everything they could to hold on to that game. You go back last week to A&M, they did everything they could to hold on to that game, including a crucial turnover to put Southern in the red zone to go up to get that go-ahead touchdown. But you look at Southern's defense with Coach Miller. What do you grade them so far?
I give them a B+. I give them a B+. They, in a couple of times where they needed to make plays and get off the field, they haven't been able to do it. But for the most part, they've been a stand-up defense. And they really kept us in games, and even the games that we lost, we wouldn't have been in those games had it not been for the defense.
Yeah. I'm going to go midway. I'm going to go C. To me, just getting by. They don't seem to be the overly dominant. It just does not seem to be, like, oh, Southern defense, you got to. But they do what they need to do in order to make plays. But when you got a quarterback, when I look what Jason Brown was doing to extend plays on those third downs, we're going to have to be able to get better at that. And the reason why I give them a C, because I want to see what we're going to look like once you get to Pine Bluff. And then after Pine Bluff, guess who's on the schedule? Florida A&M, Jeremy Musa, Marcus Riley, all those guys that can run the ball, that can catch, that can run. They are a solid team offensively when you talk about spreading the ball around. There's no just straight superstars. So that I start to see, can we get to that B and A? But right now, we're enough to get by. We're enough to hold on. But I think the offense and the defense ever just click, man, Southern could really be something special. All right, let's go. Because speaking of something, go ahead.
Complimentary football, I mean, it matters.
It does.
Your defense, the reason I give the defense a B+ too is because they are giving the offense plenty of opportunities. Offense just hadn't been complimentary with the defense. When the defense has been able to give them opportunities and put them in position to put points on the board, they haven't done it. So that's why I give the defense a B+ too and give them a slight pass.
I got you. Let's go over to just talking about something special teams. You got to play all 3 facets of the game. What do you think about special teams so far?
I give them a C+, B-. Missing too many. The mechanism hasn't worked a couple of times in field goals. The onside kick that the kicker missed, a couple of field goals that he missed that probably were makeable, but he just missed terribly. for whatever reason, whether it be the mechanism or whether it be him just missing the kicks. I think that's a focus issue for all involved. So I give them a C minus.
And all right,
A C plus. I'm sorry, a C plus or a C, just a C.
Just a C. Ooh, I don't know what kind of boy. You a tough teacher, boy. You a tough teacher. All right, overall grade. What is Southern right now? Are they passing? I hear some C's. I hear some B's. I hear some D's. Now, when I get that report card and they say the overall grade, once we average this thing out, is Southern passing?
With a D plus.
Boy, that average is tough, boy.
I mean, you've seen them play.
I have seen them play. I'm not impressed. I love my Jaguars. I support the best way that I can. But to be honest, considering where this program I thought should be heading, I understand people say the rebuild. I understand people say new coach. But I also understand the college football landscape and where I'm looking around the way that it's being built. Southern is a finesse team, particularly on offense. It's like watching a 7-on-7 tournament. You're just looking for the ooh and the ah, watching the quarterback stand back and want to throw the ball. But Southern has no physicality to it. The O-line does not seem to be physical. Like you said before, the identity. We knew what Southern was the past few years, and I got to get out of that. But Southern had an identity. And now to look at a team with no identity is a little bit tough to try to figure out where are we going, because we look lost in games in which it's like, what are we doing and why are we in a position to be like this, right? Offensively, when you got a coach that is your offensive coordinator, you have to look and say, well, if he's an offensive guy, can he draw up things on the fly in order to help this team win games, especially taking advantage of what the defense gives you, right? But it does not seem to be that way. It seems to be force-fed. We're going to just push and go for what we know, which I get it. You play, you call the plays that you practice. But if the plays that you call that you practice aren't working in the game, you got to draw up something in order to get your playmakers the ball or make your quarterback comfortable back there in the pocket, getting the ball out of his hand quick, jet sweeps, whatever you got to do in order to try to help the offense get the ball up the field. And that's one of the things we're watching this team is kind of cringy, because to watch a team stall out, and if it's not 3 and outs, to turn the ball over. Between those two things, man, that's hard to watch football, 3 and outs and turnovers.
Exactly. And I know we got to go to a break, but I'll just say this. You said it first, this is a rebuild, an unnecessary rebuild, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This wasn't something that had to be torn down and rebuilt. This was something that should have been adjusted and maybe added some things too, but it didn't need to be torn down. And I think what we're seeing there and what frustrates the fan base so much is that you tore down something. You came into a house that had a great foundation, and you tore it down and tried to rebuild it unnecessarily. And I think that brings about the fans' frustration. And when, it's ugly, and it shouldn't be. It didn't have to be.
Yeah.
Like, you could have remodeled a house without tearing it down.
That's it. And then this team has to get better in terms of discipline with the penalties. Too many penalties keeping drives alive. They kept A&M drives alive a lot on some big-time penalties because of jumping offsides or just simple little stuff that I think this team needs to work on. This team right now does not look like a well-oiled machine.
We're seeing things that we hadn't seen out of Southern football in 20 years, since before Coach Rich.
Yeah. And it's tough. Go ahead.
Yeah, the lack of discipline. We didn't see that under Coach Rich. We didn't see that under Coach Odoms. We didn't see that under Coach Mitchell in terms of on the field lack of discipline. I mean, this is something we haven't seen in a long time, and I like I said, that's what leads to the frustration of the fans.
Yeah. Let's get ready to take a break. We'll come back. Got a call on the line. We'll pick up that call, and, hey, stay tuned. We'll be right back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
At Reliable Roofing, we're dedicated to providing exceptional roofing services, including roof inspections, repairs, and complete roof installations with over 30 years' experience.
Reliable Roofing provided me with valuable, quality, and dependable service. They were reliable and affordable. Please protect your most valuable investment with quality roofing services from Reliable Roofing. Definitely with a pros though.
Let our family help your family. Call for a free estimate today.
right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. I'm Perry White. He's Reggie Flood. Let's go to the phone lines. We got Chris on the line. Good morning, Chris.
Reggie Perry, how y'all doing this morning?
Good, man. How about
Good,
yourself?
Chris. How's it going?
It's going, man. Flood, you talking about the thing that's disheartening to the fan. And I mean, my observation, based on what I'm seeing, I feel the biggest thing that's disheartening is, personally, I think Coach in over his head. I do not get any kind of confidence that he can make the in-game adjustments to what the situation is. We realize that we need to be able to run the ball, and like Flood say, I mean, for the last 15, 20 years, we've always been no less than number 3 in the conference in rushing, and now we can't run the ball at all, and nothing is taking place, okay? Then you make statements that it's been fixed, and you get the same result coming out. My biggest concern is when you have the talent and you're not producing, like you said, something that didn't have to be rebuilt. You had a solid foundation. You had an identity coming in. It started with bad decision-making last year at the quarterback spot. Okay, we passed that. But the bottom line is I don't see anything as a fan that's been watching the Jags as long. I don't see a coach that I believe can make the necessary adjustment to make us a winner against competition. We beat A&M because A&M is just a bad team, okay? Alabama State was a bad team, and we lost that one. I just do not see us, especially the tougher the competition, just like Jackson did us and made Jackson look way better than what they are. Jackson isn't that good, but they looked like they just dominated us, and we just have no kind of a clue as far as halftime adjustment, in-game adjustments to make you feel like we're going to get it straight. And I'm not trying to compare anybody to Coach Richardson, but even with Coach Odom, you could have a certain level of confidence where, hey, they doing this we're going to do in the second half. I don't see anything other than us just being superior to certain teams for us to get wins. And I just, you look at it, it's just going to be hard for us to beat anybody that's got a good team. It's going to be hard for us to win in Alcorn. It's going to be hard for us to beat the Rattlers. Not saying these things are impossible, but I do not see that we have the capability to be able to make these adjustments. Do I think we got the talent? Yeah, we got the talent, but I just don't see it. Maybe I'm missing something.
See, in the current state, I have to agree with you. The current state of what we've seen over the past season, and so in 3 games that we played, or 4 games, however many we played this year, 3 games. I would have to agree with you, Chris. I just don't see us being able to beat those teams. Now, hopefully that changes, but for what we've seen from our sample size, it doesn't seem likely.
Let me ask
that we're able to beat good teams.
Let me ask both you guys this. Normally when a head coach comes in, you kind of see the imprint of what he wants to build a program to look like and be like. And I'll start with whoever wants to take it. What does it look like with Dooley coming in that he wants this team to be? Because, like you said, Flood does not have an identity. Like you're saying, Chris, doesn't seem like they can beat the teams to be the toast of the conference. What does the identity of this team, what does Dooley seem to want this team to be? Or is it just kind of, I'm just going to take it year by year, whatever I can get?
Well, I mean, from my observation is, I think he want to run some kind of run and shoot offense, high pace, high scoring, up tempo, and just outscore everybody or whatever. From what I'm looking like, that's what I think he wants to be able to do. I just don't, just be able to just be on the move, steady, keep it going, running the ball down the field, running the score up like we did when we came out against Alabama State. Ideally, that's what I think he wants to see, us move the ball right down the field. But if anything comes in contact with that or anything upsets that, then we kind of like lost. I mean, you throw to the tight end all those times on that first drive, and the tight end literally is vanished and disappeared. And a good tight end will prosper in the SWAC. It's been like that for years. A good tight end will prosper in the SWAC. And why are we not utilizing ours more than what we do? I have no understanding. I just don't see it. I do not see a direction to where he say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to attack them. These are the adjustments we done made. Go out in the second half and execute what the coaches done taught you. I just don't see that. I just don't see it.
What you got, Flood?
I mean, first, like we said, they have no identity in what he wants to do. I don't know. It seems like an antiquated offense. You know, the spread the ball and throw the ball, 50, 60 times a game is antiquated.
Right.
And you know, it's an offense that it's easy to defend. Because it's basically, I'm going to put my best athletes on your best athletes and see if we can make plays. Well, you got to have that day and time is over. If you're not Alabama or somebody like that, that's not working anymore.
Does this
you got to
seem?
have some.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, does this seem like a sustainable program? Does this seem like a program builder, or does it just seem I'm just going to take whatever pieces I got and do whatever I can? Because what we've seen in the past seems to be a program that was built. This doesn't seem to be in the direction of a program that's being built. This seems to be a year by year, whatever I have type of team.
Yeah, I don't think it's a program being built. I think it's Coach Dooley's program being built. There's no difference from what we've seen, what he did at Prairie View to what we've seen at Southern. This is the exact same thing. So it's his build, it's his structure. It is what it is. This is this is our coach's touch on our program. This is the same exact thing we saw at Prairie View, we're seeing at Southern. This is the same exact thing that, honestly, we used to laugh and knock at Prairie View, and we're seeing it at Southern. And I don't want to be hypercritical, but those are just the facts. If anybody can tell me this is any different or show me where this is any different from what we saw Coach Dooley do at Prairie View to what we're watching at Southern, then, just show me that I'm wrong. But it seems to me to look the same. They say teams take on the identity of their coach, or programs take on the identity of their coach. I think we have taken on the identity of our coach.
And thus, my concern with the hire being made, and Flood is exactly right. We're getting the exact same thing that we saw at Prairie View A&M. We're getting the exact same thing. Not being able to capitalize on the big game when it counts, not being able to make the necessary adjustments to show the championship, the discipline, like we see in the different offsides and the lack of discipline that's taking place is nothing like anything that we ever experienced or had any kind of way from a standpoint, jumping off sides and all of these different things like that, not coming out in the second half and just coming out and just run the ball or say, by God, we're going to run it, we're going to take what they're doing. I just don't see it. And it's just like Flood said. Thus, I don't know what people were looking at, but I thought he grossly underachieved at Prairie View. Based upon what he had to work with at Prairie View, this Chris' personal opinion, I personally thought he grossly underachieved at Prairie View. That's the reason why I wasn't excited about him coming to Southern. I felt he had more to work with at Prairie View than he had at Southern. And so,
in terms of facilities and things like that, and, a lot of people said because of Prairie View's academic standards and their holding to the academic standards, maybe that was a thing, maybe that's what it was, but I don't think that, looking at it now, I don't think that's what it was. I think that's just I think that's the identity, that's the type of team and foundation. And my thing was, when he came to Southern, it wasn't like when he went to Prairie View. Well, I take that back. It was almost the exact same scenario when I really think back on it. You had Willie Simmons at Prairie View, who was very similar to Coach Odoms in a lot of ways, who left had a little down period, had a year being down, but he left a solid program. They came in, tore the program down, and built it into a middle of the road program. That's exactly what we did at Southern. He came in, and you could make an argument that Coach Jason Rollins actually had the team look better under Coach
Hey, thank
Rollins.
you for the call, Chris.
All right. Yeah, that the team looked better under Coach Rollins than they have under Coach Dooley. And, you know, it's frustrating to watch it, to say that our program has become a middle-of-the-road program in a rebuild.
Hey, Flood.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, let's go to
take a break.
Yeah, let's go to the phone lines one more time. Let's got Coach Green on line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How y'all doing?
Good, man. What you got
Doing
for
well.
us?
How are you?
Got to make it quick. We don't have much time.
Okay, this is my quick thing. I think you should, be patient. It's only a few games past, and let's just wait and see. I'm always
Coach, but it's not a few games, Coach. We're in the second season of this, Coach.
I understand that, but what the record is right now? What the record is right now?
1-3, 1-2?
1-2.
1-2.
1-2, yeah.
Still, the season is like, as a coach, the season is like a marathon. Every game is different. So I understand, as a fan, y'all frustrated from what y'all seeing, but shoot, something may turn around. You never know, because, it happens.
Well,
and
Coach,
if you look out through history, stuff like that has happened.
But, Coach, it's not the turnaround that fans are frustrated with. It's no doubt that because of the way the season is laid out, Southern could end up in the championship representing the West. And that would be best-case scenario. Don't get me wrong. But whether they represent the West or not, it's just terrible football.
Okay.
And our fans are sophisticated enough to recognize that.
But throughout history, we saw stuff like this happen before. And then all of a sudden, a switch just clicked, and then all of a sudden, everything started hitting on all cylinders. Like, well, if he beat UAPB, and then he turned around and beat FAMU, and the game is kind of ugly. Are you still stating the same thing? Or let's wait and see?
Beating UAPB only means that we are still in it in the West. But there is no
FAMU though after that.
Yeah, we play FAMU. There is no indication that this team is capable of beating FAMU. Now, if they beat FAMU, like I said, because of the way the schedule falls out, it's a very good chance that we could be in the hunt in the West. It's not likely, but there is a chance that we could be in the hunt in the West. But for the way that this team has played up until this point, there is no, and going from last year, I know this is a different year, but we're seeing the same things over and over. And you are who you are once what you put on film. You are who you are. We're seeing the same things that we saw last year.
That's hard to say, and that's not necessarily true because, like I said, things could change, and all of a sudden everything just starts hitting. Because throughout history, it happens.
When you say throughout history, what history? What history?
What history are you referring to?
All right, I could.
You got about 1 minute to try to make that point.
I saw it happen with a team like, damn, man, it's.
What we saying is, Coach Green, that you can't help but use your eyes to watch what you're looking at. And if you using your eyes to watch what you're looking at, when you look at the penalties, when you look at the lack of success on offense, when you look at what the defense has to do to constantly keep you in the game in the positions that you're putting your defense in, you can't help but to then analyze and assess what you see and then form a conclusion to what you see.
And especially when you've seen it over a sample size of not just this 3 games, but all the way through last year.
All right, thank you, Coach Green.
Into these 3 games, you can't help but it just is what it is. And until we see something different, then we just gonna have to call it for what it is.
Ain't nobody hating on Dooley now. Ain't nobody hating on this staff, right? This is nothing personal. This is business.
They don't believe that, though.
But I'm saying for anybody that's listening, because I feel like where Coach Green is going, like, yeah, I get. But Coach Green, we're watching these games, man. Fans are watching these games. There's no way you're looking at the game, and then there's no way you hear a coach after last year when you had a quarterback in a SWAC championship game that you thought could have gave you a better opportunity throughout the season, when you saw the same offensive struggles of last year to what you're seeing this year, right? And then you have a guy coming to a championship game and then gives you the spark we've been looking for all year. Then you go in the press conference and say, I wouldn't have changed anything.
It's gaslighting, and that's another thing that's frustrated to the fans. It's gaslighting. Like, you're telling us that we're stupid. Like, we aren't seeing what we're seeing.
And I ain't falling for that no more.
No, I ain't never fell for it. Like, you're telling us we're not seeing what we're seeing, like we stupid. You go in press conferences and say, oh, we fixed that. It's 3 hours after the game. It's the next day. And how the hell have you fixed it? And then you come out and do the same thing. It's like you're talking to us like we're stupid.
Yeah, like you didn't play, you ain't never coached, so you don't understand.
Exactly.
So,
and he literally says that.
Yeah.
And we know what we're watching. We know what we're seeing. We know bad football when we see it.
And, you know, I can take if it happens a game here, a game there. I got that. I understand games happen. But this seems to be a reoccurring thing from what we saw last year. Come on, man. Once after that Jackson State game, you saw us against FAMU, and it was tough, especially. Did you not watch the Bayou Classic for those first 3 quarters? Did you not see us against Texas Southern? Did you not see the second half against Alabama State? Did you not see the second half against Jackson State? Did you not watch the Alabama A&M game? Did you not watch the SWAC championship game last year? These are reoccurring things that I can keep going on and on and on about. It was tough.
The fact that Coach Dooley his teams have not beaten a team over 500. In how many? I forgot what that stat is. P.Y. You know it better than I do. I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah, 0-6 against Jackson. He's lost to Jackson State 3 times in less than a year. SWAC championship last time in October of last year, and then this past year. You know, Dooley, I want you to have some success, but you're gonna have to find a way to get some success on the bluff, because guess what? This is a fan base. This is a team. This is a community that wants to rally around a team. And it's tough when you go out there and you see the type of product that it is. And I know the coaching staff and Dooley and everybody else, they want to win, but the way that you're trying to win, it's just not appealing to people right now. And we're looking at it in the wins and losses.
Stop gaslighting the fans. Stop acting like the fans are stupid, because they're not. You're alienating them. I know that I hope that they're listening. Stop gaslighting the fans. You're alienating them. They're not stupid. They know what they're seeing.
Jaguars,
so just,
Jaguars headed up to Pine Bluff this week, going up to my way. I'll be on the road next week. Flood, you going to the game? You'll be on the road as well?
I don't think so. I think I'm going to hold it down at the house.
All right, well, I'll bring you a turkey leg back. Mike will be here in the studio. I'll be up in Pine Bluff holding it down. The Jaguars go on the road against the Golden Lions of UAPB. Hopefully they can come back with a victory. Should be a good one. I hope everybody out there has a great week. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys next week. Flood, get us up out of here.
The man upstairs says the same. We'll be back at the same time in the same place, because always it's the Jaguar Journal.
Are you tired of
depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more? Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching